Welcome again, friends. You're listening to the Bible Character Podcast, and I'm your host, Delight. Today I have someone very special joining me, a woman whose quiet tears shook heaven. She's known for a silent prayer that changed not just her life, but the story of Israel. Her name is Hannah. Hannah, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Delight. I'm honored to speak, even though for a long time I didn't have a voice.
Let's go back to that time. The beginning. You were married, but life wasn't easy, was it?
Not at all. I was married to Elkanah, a good man, a kind man, really. He tried to love me. He gave me a double portion when we went up to worship in Shiloh. But there was another woman in the house, Peninnah. She had children, sons, daughters. Her laughter filled the home. Her babies cried through the night. Mine didn't, because I had none.
That must have been a very hard season of your life.
Delight. In our time, a woman's worth was tied to her womb. It wasn't just about love, it was about legacy. A woman who couldn't have children was considered cursed, useless, rejected by God.
Did Peninnah treat you with kindness?
No, she mocked me. Year after year, especially when we went up to the house of the Lord, that's when she would provoke me the most. I would sit with my food untouched, tears streaming down my face, and she'd look at me with this smirk, as if to say, "I've got what you don't." I felt forgotten. I felt like a mistake. Elkanah would try to comfort me. He'd say, "Am I not better to you than 10 sons?" But he didn't understand. It wasn't just about wanting a child. It was the pain of being empty. Every part of me longed to carry life, to feel a baby kick, to hear someone call me Mama. I cried, but not to people. I took my pain to God.
That brings us to what many people remember you for, your silent prayer. But before we go into that moment, tell me, what kept you going? How did you wake up every day and still serve, still love, still go to the temple?
It was hard, I won't lie. There were days I didn't want to get out of bed, but something inside me refused to give up. I didn't understand why God had closed my womb, but I believed He hadn't closed His heart.
You held on to that?
Yes, even when the silence from heaven felt unbearable, I told myself, He's still God, and if I can't speak with my voice, I'll speak with my tears.
That's powerful.
Pain is a language too, Delight, and I believe God speaks it fluently.
Let's walk into that temple moment, that unforgettable day. What happened, Hannah? What brought you to the altar that day?
I had reached the end of myself. The pain in my heart, it was too much to carry. I went into the tabernacle alone. I didn't go to talk to anyone. I went to talk to the only one who could really understand.
You didn't even speak out loud, did you?
No, my lips moved, but there was no sound. I poured out everything. I told God, if you will indeed look on my affliction and not forget me, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. All the days of his life, he will be yours.
That's a bold vow. You were asking for the very thing your heart longed for and promising to give him away.
That's right, because I realized something in that moment, Delight. My pain wasn't just about me, it was about something bigger, something sacred. If God was ever going to bless me, I wanted the blessing to serve His purpose, not just mine.
But then came Eli, the priest. What happened?
He thought I was drunk. He saw my lips moving, but no sound came out. He said, "How long will you be drunk? Put away your wine." I was already broken and now accused. But I didn't lash out. I told him, "I'm not drunk. I'm a woman of sorrowful spirit. I've poured out my soul before the Lord." He then blessed me. He said, "Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant you your petition." I took those words with me, not from a man, but from God. I walked out, and something changed.
What changed?
I wasn't sad anymore. The burden lifted. I hadn't seen a miracle yet, but I knew He had heard me.
You believe the answer was on the way?
Yes, and not long after I conceived, and I named him Samuel, because I asked him of the Lord.
Tell me about holding that baby in your arms after all those years of waiting.
I wept, not out of pain, but joy. Every little breath he took reminded me, God hears, he sees, he remembers.
You could have kept him. You were under no pressure, but you didn't.
I remembered my vow. As soon as he was weaned, I took him back to the temple. I said to Eli, "This is the child I prayed for, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. Therefore I have lent him to the Lord."
So you chose loyalty, even when loyalty hurt.
No, my arms ached as I let go, but my soul rejoiced, because I wasn't losing him. I was giving him to the one who gave him to me.
That's a rare kind of faith, Hannah.
It's the kind of faith you find when you've walked through years of silence and discovered God is still writing your story.
Hannah, most mothers pray to keep their children close, but you gave yours back. What was going through your heart that day at the temple when you placed Samuel in the hands of Eli?
I had never cried tears like that before, Delight. Not out of sorrow, but something deeper. Surrender. My arms were trembling, my heart beating so hard. I had waited for this child, and now I was letting him go. But I wasn't giving him to a man. I was giving him back to the God who gave him to me in the first place.
Was it hard to walk away?
So hard. I had nursed him, sang to him, watched him take his first steps. But I remembered the vow, and the peace of knowing I had fulfilled what I promised. That peace held me. It comforted me more than 1,000 lullabies.
Did you visit him often?
Every year, I would sew him a little robe. Each stitch was a prayer. I'd watch him from afar in the temple, serving, growing. I saw God's hand shaping him. I didn't need to hover. I trusted the one who formed him in my womb.
That's incredible trust.
Delight. Some children are born to stay in your home forever, but some are born to be released for the work of the Lord. Samuel was that child, and God gave me more children after him too, sons and daughters. But Samuel, he was the seed I sowed.
What did you learn about God through all of this?
I learned that God doesn't just hear loud prayers, he hears silent ones. He doesn't just answer the bold, he answers the broken. And sometimes, what looks like a delay is really God preparing the perfect answer. Not just for us, but for generations.
Would you say your pain had a purpose?
Absolutely. If I hadn't gone through those years of waiting, I might never have known God so personally. My tears weren't wasted. They watered the ground where Samuel would grow.
And your song, the one you sang after giving Samuel back, it's one of the most powerful in all of Scripture. What made you sing?
Joy, pure joy, not just because I had a child, but because I had seen the Lord lift the lowly. He had looked on a woman forgotten by others and called her by name. That song was my praise offering.
Hannah, your life speaks. To every woman waiting, to every believer weeping in silence, to every soul wondering if God still remembers. What would you say to them now?
Wait, not because it's easy, but because God is faithful. When you give your brokenness to Him, He gives you beauty. Maybe not always in the way you expect, but in the way that transforms you forever.
That's powerful, Hannah. Thank you for teaching us that silence isn't the absence of faith. Sometimes it's the purest kind.
Thank you, Delight. May every listener know that God is near to those who weep quietly, and He still answers silent prayers.
When I think about Hannah, I think about a woman who didn't raise her voice but still shook the heavens. She didn't have a pulpit. She didn't have a platform. She had pain and a quiet place in the temple. But in that quiet place, God met her. Hannah's story tells me that God listens even when no one else does. It tells me that silent prayers, those ones we can't even form into words, reach God's ears louder than screams. Let me tell you what I saw in her story. 1. God's wisdom is wrapped in waiting. We don't like the waiting seasons. I know I don't. But Hannah waited. And while she waited, God was weaving purpose into her pain. Samuel wasn't just an answer to her womb. He was an answer to a nation. Her waiting wasn't punishment. It was preparation. If God had answered her earlier, would she have given him back? Would the nation have received such a priest, a prophet, a man of such integrity? Sometimes God waits, because the thing he wants to birth through you is bigger than you. 2. Real faith can be quiet. Hannah didn't shout her way into a miracle. She wasn't trying to impress the priest or anyone around her. In fact, Eli thought she was drunk. But that's what faith sometimes looks like. Misunderstood, quiet, hidden, but real. God saw it, and God answered it. 3. Worship comes before the breakthrough. Before she ever held Samuel in her arms, Hannah worshiped. The Bible says she rose up and ate, and her face was no longer sad. And he still remembers those who others forget. She didn't wait to see the test result. She didn't wait to feel the baby kick. She believed. Worship isn't about what we see. It's about who we trust. 4. Your pain can birth something bigger than you. Hannah gave Samuel back to God. Do you understand how hard that is? To finally receive what you prayed for, and then release it. But because she did, Samuel grew up in the presence of God. He heard God's voice when others couldn't. He anointed kings. He walked with power and purpose. Hannah's pain was the soil. Samuel was the seed. 5. You're not forgotten. If you've ever felt like Hannah, mocked, overlooked, empty, I want you to know this. God sees you. He hears your whisper. Your tears are counted, and your waiting is not in vain. So, if all you have is a silent prayer, you're in good company. Hannah prayed one, and the world changed because of it. God still answers the quiet ones. He still turns sorrow into singing. If you're listening right now, don't give up. Keep praying, even if it's silent. Keep believing, even when nothing is changing. And when your Samuel comes, remember who gave him to you, and give him praise. If Hannah's story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Maybe you've been crying in silence too, waiting, praying, hoping. Her story reminds us, God hears what others can't see. Tell us, what silent prayer are you still holding on to? Drop it in the comments. Let's believe together. Like the video if this moved you. Subscribe so you don't miss the next powerful episode. Share this with someone who needs a quiet reminder. God sees them too.